So this was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And it's like, I can go in depth, I can talk about the themes and the concepts that go into this episode, and I will talk about them, but at a very basic level, like, things like this, they either hit you or they don't. And if they don't hit you, what am I to say to you? It's like, there's nothing much that you can say to somebody that just doesn't understand the power of moments like this. Not just in anime, and just in media in general. So I guess let's get started. I knew the episode was going to get deep when I saw that we were not having an opening theme, and that was consistent by the end, because we didn't get an ending theme. So I'm guessing next week we'll probably get a new one for both. The king finds Palm in a closet. He needs her help in order to find Komugi. And the way they showed Palm's initial internal struggle was just absolutely amazing. Her human side is telling her to be like, okay, no, you are the bad guy. I should not feel compassion for you. Why are you asking to spend your last moments with Komugi? Because, by the way, the king already accepted, like, you've won. Like, your race has won. And it goes back to the previous episodes about, like, the human race being kind of inherently cruel, being worse so than the ants. It's actually pretty disgusting if you sit down and think about it. It's like we are addicted to these cycles of violence. And not just any type of violence. Well, because for the most part, okay, we are addicted to finding ways to destroy members of our own species, okay, as a way of making sure that others survive. Every single war fought in the history of mankind is a testament to that. Which is why I actually disagree with the king when he tells Palm, your species won. As if he were implying that the humans were the superior species. No. I think the ants, through Meruem, through the king, just achieved like a level of superiority that just the human race is not capable of yet. Why? Because by the end of it, and at first I had to question myself, because at first I really wanted the king to kill Poof. Like, that's something I really wanted. But then when I saw him dead, when I saw Poof dead because of the poison, I was a little bit disappointed, but then I thought, if the king had killed Poof, it would have gone against his development. Because by the end of this story, by the end of this arc, the king is no longer preoccupied by earthly concerns about power or who's going to be the dominant species. He's transcended that. So much so that he actually becomes a representation of his name, which is, what was it? Like, what does Meruem mean? Like, the one with the light, or the one that shows people the light, the enlightened one, something like that. So he becomes the light for his species in a sense. And not only does he become the light for the ants that died before him, he also becomes a light, literally and figuratively, for Komugi, who is able to open her eyes while playing the game. It's just incredibly symbolic, incredibly emotional. And so in a way, what I think this episode tries to do is that in order to overcome, the closest we as a species can come to overcome the flaws that we have inherently as humans, is to just give in to love. Give in to love, learn how to give it, and learn how to receive it. Because notice, Komugi is happy to stay by the king's side. The king doesn't push her away. He lets her make her own choice. And I think the common response to this episode is to say that it's very, very sad. But to me, and I have to admit, I got emotional by the end, but to me, it's not as sad as it is beautiful. Because if you notice, one of the things that gets stressed over and over again in this episode is that things led to this moment, and things happened the way they were supposed to happen to lead to this ending. And there's some very pretty big themes of predeterminism in this episode, in the sense that nothing was extra. Nothing was wasted getting to that moment, to that final match between the king and Komugi. And I'm pretty sure there was other foreshadowing to this, but it was just so well planned. Because the king tells Komugi, you once asked me what my name was. And that immediately brought me back to Netero, like the Netero fight, right? Because the purpose of the entire fight was for the king to learn his name. So I'm like, maybe deep down he really was headed towards this one purpose. And I think they also flirted a little bit with the idea of the afterlife, because after the credits roll, you can still hear them talking. I personally thought both of them had already died by that point, but no, they were still alive. So yeah, and I kind of got the idea that, I mean, I assumed that they were dead, so I kind of thought that they were going with the idea that they were going to keep playing into infinity, and the king would probably never beat Komugi. I thought that was really beautiful. But then we actually find out that they're both still alive, and they're both, still playing. And then the episode cuts right before Komugi's death. And so they play with the idea of the afterlife, and they allude to it in a sense, but they don't make it certain. It's heavily implied, because I think because the king says, "Oh, I'm going to go take a nap, but I'll wake up soon," meaning that there possibly is something. But I think even if you don't believe in the afterlife, this whole thing is beautiful regardless. You can appreciate the moment for what it is, which is, in my opinion, the culmination of what we as human beings are called to do in this world, which is to love. As cheesy as that sounds. Amazing episode, beautiful. Like, there's just no other way to describe it. There was some build up to, I think, what's the upcoming election arc, but it just gets blown out of the water with the Komugi and King thing. So thank you so much for watching, commenting down below, liking the video. As always, subscribe to my channel if you like the stuff that I do and the things that I talk about. Catch you guys later.